looked into the gang rape claims. And indeed, there was a mixed message from him. He said that there was some evidence to support the gang rape, but in the end, there wasn't enough to have a successful prosecution.
There were substantial holes in some witness accounts. There were some alibis which, when discovered, were checked out and became evidence against the original version. There were some timelines that didn't match up.
From here, the case is officially closed unless some more witnesses come forward, but that is unlikely. There may be a civil action by the young woman who sparked this whole controversy, and we'll see whether or not she will make herself available to explain her views on this subject. So we await those details.
Thank you, Kevin. The Prime Minister is at the centre of an explosive row between radio titans John Laws and Alan Jones. Mr Howard tonight forced to deny allegations of corruption.
John Laws dropped the bombshell on his show, accusing Alan Jones of claiming to have heavied the Prime Minister to protect the job of broadcasting watchdog chief David Flint.
Alan Jones said to me, in fact, I was so determined to have David Flint re-elected that I personally went to Kirribilli House and instructed John Howard to reappoint David Flint, or he wouldn't have my support in the forthcoming election.
That threat was recounted by Jones, according to Laws, at a dinner in November 2000.
I'm simply saying those words are fanciful and ludicrous. I don't think I've ever had a discussion with John Howard about David Flint, ever. That's as memory tells me.
But John Laws lunched today with the host of that dinner, his agent John Fordham, who backs the claims.
We're at the same functions, yeah.
And you heard the same things?
I did, yeah.
This is an allegation of corrupt behaviour by our Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister responded to the allegations tonight.
Any suggestion of impropriety on my part, I totally reject.
The Prime Minister too denies any recollection of having a discussion with Alan Jones about David Flint. Jones, he says, is a friend who drops into Kirribilli every once in a while, but one who definitely hasn't tried to muscle him.
No such threat has ever been made to me by Jones or anybody else, and if it were, I'd tell them to get lost.
Brad Burke, 10 News.
Rail officials have released startling security video of a woman whose actions sparked a terror alert at a Sydney train station. The station had to be shut down during busy peak hour after the woman tried to hide a bag behind a seat. The threat was taken seriously. She'd already left, but the station was evacuated and the bomb squad called in. The bag only contained rubbish. The role of Australia's troops in Iraq continues to be a political football. The government's lashed out at Labor for suggesting they're merely symbolic. John Howard insisting it's an ignorant slur.
On a whistle-stop bus tour of regional Victoria, opposition leader Mark Latham cut a lonely figure as he pondered how to correct the impression that Labor had snubbed our forces in Iraq. A generous floral welcome at a community forum, but there were no bouquets from John Howard. Freshly back from Baghdad, the Prime Minister is on the warpath over Mark Latham's claim that our 250 troops in Iraq are there for political symbolism.
His apparent belittling of the role of our forces by saying their role is symbolic. Now that is insulting and it's ignorant.
We support the troops. Our argument is with the Howard government on policy issues.
Mr Howard said the recent rescue by HMAS Stewart of wounded American soldiers injured in the terrorist attack on Iraq's main offshore oil facility showed the important work being done.
These are the people who he said were there symbolically, in some symbolic gesture.
The danger for Mark Latham is that he'll fail to communicate the distinction between criticising the troops and the policy that put them there.